Welcome engineers to another episode of Automated. Today we're working on World 3 Level 8 Total Eclipse of the Shrooms. We are going for 5 stars as usual. Let's see what we can do. Looking at the leaderboard, there's less and less people that have actually played this at the time of recording. There's only 7 people even on the leaderboard. So either people have just stopped playing this game for some reason, or there's just not many players of this game at the moment. They need to do some more rigorous advertising. Aggressive advertising, if you will. Anyway, I'm looking at this thing is outputting at 1200 per minute. Obviously, we're going to have some shenanigans going on over here. What is this material? Aluminum. Any big materials that we have? That's the other thing I want to note before we start. We've been given steel straight up, and we've been given sulfuric acid straight up. Nothing else, everything else is a raw material. Actually, this is not a raw material. This is a shadow opal. That's hard to make, I think. Either it is the raw material or it's the created thing. No, it is the base material. Never mind. I thought it was this thing. All right, what are we trying to make? We're trying to make advanced solar module with control system. And we need to make, this makes 60 per minute in a dissolution chamber. Sure. What do we need to deliver? In 2 minutes 50, we need to maintain and deliver 60 advanced solar modules per minute for 120 seconds for 2 minutes. And our time is 2 minutes 50. So we only got 50 seconds to have this machine whir up and get everything working properly. But we only have to maintain 60. I say we only have to maintain 60. So that tells me that we just need a dissolution chamber at the very end. The very end is, say, here, right? I'm going to put it facing this way for now. And into the dissolution chamber needs to go nebula infused opal, liquid hydrogen chloride, and solar cell. Let's see what alternate recipes we have. That doesn't look too hard. It's 2 solids and 1 liquid output. There's no advanced recipes for this, alternate recipes for this. So this is fixed. We definitely need to make liquid hydrogen chloride, which we've done a billion times before. So we need salt water at some point. There's a lot of alternate recipes for this. We need to deliver 120 solar cell. We can use overclocking. We can do a bunch of stuff. Welding is obviously the easiest way to do it, just by cutting aluminum, or advanced cutting aluminum, which is slower for some weird reason. Advanced cutting aluminum requires less aluminum. But we've got infinite aluminum, so we can just overclock a couple of cutters to get the aluminum that we need. We can overclock 1 cutter to get the aluminum that we need. To get the 60 we need for this, actually we need 2 of these. There's no other recipe that makes this better. Now, to make this thing, we either use oil or we use heavy water. What do we have? I like using oil for this, but we don't always have oil. We have oil. Do we have heavy water? That will eliminate a recipe if we don't have heavy water. Okay, we do have heavy water. Wait, is that liquid deuterium? That's not heavy water. Liquid deuterium is the thing we want to bioflux into. So we've already got this and silicon to make that. Where's the silicon? That's the silicon. That's too good to be true. So we need 2 welders, or we just need 1 dissolution chamber. Is silicon used for anything else in this process? No. Okay, that's almost too good to be true. So we don't even have to worry about this. What I mean by that is all we have to do is put 1 dissolution chamber here, liquid input over here, and we've got that. And to get the quantity that we need it in, because 60 will only make 60 of this and we need 120, we can simply overclock it. Or if we want to save power, just make 2 of these if we have space and power. So that's already 1 issue sorted. Either way, we need to make this, and then we need to mix it with the aluminum over here inside a cutter. So if we just put a cutter here, overclock the cutter, there's our 120. That needs to go into a welder. So if we put 120 into here, 120 into here, like that, that's almost too easy. That's our first component, solar cell down, right? Yeah, 60 per minute solar cell. That's one of the two components down. We won't worry about the liquid because liquids are reasonably easy to deal with. Now we need to make this thing. So we need to put 120 into an advanced cutter. We're probably going to use overclocking for a lot of this. So 120 into an advanced cutter to make this. What goes in there? 240 nebulite prisms. How many different ways is there to make 240 of these? So normally a welder would make 60 or a welder would make 60. And we can either use a ton of aluminum or we can use even more aluminum but a slightly easier process. How is this easier? Advanced furnace versus a welder. I like this better. So to make 240 of this, because we need 2 of these, which means we need 240 of this, we need 2 overclocked welders. There's no ifs, ums, or buts about that. But we've already been given steel. How does that help us? It doesn't. Where would steel have even helped us? Nowhere. Nothing even uses steel. It's just a red herring. Unless this thing we can do a method without using steel, but no, there's not. Why do we need steel? Maybe there's a method here that uses steel. There's a method here that uses steel. Instead of a lot of copper, we use steel and a little bit of copper. Where's our copper situation? Over here. There's also salt here, which I assume we're going to need to mix with water and do a bunch of other stuff. And the water's down here. Oh god. Yep, this is going to take a while. Alright, let's work on this first. We have to decide whether we want to do this or this. So, 2 overclocked welders. Let's just do one first. Oh, let's just do them together. And into the overclocked welders, we need to put 120 of this. But if they're both overclocked, into each one, yeah, so we need all 480 into this. Then I would like to put this here. So that gets that material in. Now we need to put in the aluminum casing, 120 into each one. This one makes more, but requires the rest of this solution. But we're making this solution partially anyway for this part of the process. So we need to make salt water. We want to bring the water to the salt and dissolve it. If you're enjoying the video and you want to support Data Engineer Plays, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to share them in the comment section. Bringing the water to the salt is not fun because this elevator is in the way. Is there any way this elevator cannot be in the way? There is. We can move the elevator here. Now we can bring the water along here. Up. Needs to come out here somewhere. Ideally up here. I'm trying to find the shortest path here. We're just slowly going to merge these together. Because I don't know where this and this links. Here. Apparently this and this link here. Perspective is an interesting thing. So there's the water, there's the salt, there's my brine. I'm doing it this way so that the water travels instantly and then this brine comes out instantly. The brine needs to go into a fluxer. So we can move this crap out of the way. I want to flip this. That way I can put my fluxer in like this, which means I need to move this pipe. Might as well just get the pipe to go along the outside because going over all of this is going to be expensive. No way, it's a little bit out of the way as well. Cut the pipe. Okay. So now we've got our chloride. That needs to be mixed with more water. The water needs to be fluxed into hydrogen. Then the hydrogen and whatever comes out of here needs to be mixed together. That at some point needs to be put into the final dissolution chamber. But this is all liquid and stuff, so I don't need to waste my valuable space. I can waste valuable power instead. What I mean by that is we can burn the water here. Say we put our biofluxer here, like this. Then at some point we should be able to bring that up and over this thing, like that. Is that as tight as it gets, or can I do it under here? Something like that. That gets my hydrogen. And then the hydrogen and this green thing needs to mix in a chemical infuser, which I'm very reluctant to put up here because I need space. So it would have to go down here. Like that. And the gas from here needs to come out down this way as well. So here and into there. That gets us out this gas. That gas needs to go into another fluxer. Like that. We're just earmarking all the space we need for this stuff so that we can see very clearly where all this needs to go. Why do you hate that? Because it's the wrong way, silly. There we go. That's our final liquid. But we did all that because we need this thing to mix with a green compound somewhere. Oh, we don't even have the green compound, do we? To make this, we need this green stuff into a biofluxer to make liquid chloride. I'm just gonna see where I can put this thing. Here is fine, technically. So then I can fit a biofluxer here, or not. This green liquid is also coming down here, so I can technically fit one anywhere around here and just use it from here. This is getting a little bit crazy. I feel like we don't have enough space for this, but we have to do this somewhere, okay? Where can I fit this drum? It's so big, it doesn't fit there. It literally doesn't fit anywhere anymore. I can fit it here, barely. Then we can connect it like that. Can we go lower? No. So that makes our green liquid. Why did we want green liquid again? Liquid chloride? Because we want to mix it with all of the things here in dissolution chambers. That's silly because we need to process all of the aluminum here. Okay. So that's insanity doing it down here because we need the space down here to do stuff. I'm gonna get rid of this. We definitely can't do it down here. I don't think this is the right way to do things. Because we need to process the aluminum first as well. But we got a rough idea from doing that exercise where everything should go. But we need to process this 1200 aluminum first. Now, aluminum is used here, and that's pretty much all it's used for. Now, I've completely forgotten how much I need and of what. I need 120 casing in 2 dissolution chambers that both need to be overclocked. So it's a dissolution chamber. But normally the way we do this is a press and a furnace attached to it directly, right? Like this. Then we can do something like that. Now we can move this cutter like here. And that way we can put our splitter here. Now it's split into 3 belts of 400 each. We need to upgrade this belt to get the throughput that we need. Is a regular belt enough for this? A regular belt will give me 60 and 120. Can I overclock both these machines? By upgrading all of this. 120 and 240. and upgrading that. And we need to do that again. We want it closer to this machine, because even that can just go out like this. And then this one will need a lift of some sort. Something like that. Now this is going to be my longest belt to date, but at least that works. And if we upgrade this, then we've got all the throughput we need for the two 120 belts, plus the 240 here. So now these two things should be producing the things that we want, except we need to shift all of this back to the left one tile. Like that. Because once these things come out, they do need somewhere to go, or at least go into some sort of lift. Because this is going to be 240, is it? Because each welder produces 60. No, it's not 240, it's 120. But these both need to be overclocked as well. So basically everything here needs to be overclocked. Now I just temporarily want to put in a thingy-mabob. One of these chambers. Oh, I shouldn't have disconnected my water pipe. Let me redraw my water pipe real quick. The very temporary water pipe, because we just need this into this. I can't even fit this here. I can't fit this here. Oh man, it's all so painful. Alright, so there's my gas out and there's my green liquid. Now I can test whether this all works, because these dissolution chambers do need liquid inputs and they're not exactly aligned at the moment. Ah, right, we've learned our lesson from these dissolution chambers. They can't directly be put here because you can't output the liquid there. So we do need to yoink one tile. And yoink one tile. Even worse. And we need to upgrade the ones that are carrying 240. But now we should be able to bring that up. Bring that up. Link these two somehow. Bring that up one more. Link that there. And then bring that around there. And that gets us our 120, 120. We'll relink this over. That gets us our 120 there. And then we'll just relink this over. And that should get us our 120 here. Why do you not like this? And there's our 240. Why did we need 240? Oh, do we need 240? Yes, we do, because we need 240 of that, because that's going into an advanced cutter, which is going to be overclocked with this. Oh man, that's going to be an expensive belt too, because when we do this, we need to bring it to an advanced cutter up here somewhere. But there's no other way to go about it, because this is coming out at 480, right? So let's get like a lift going over here somewhere. Luckily, there's just enough space for a lift here. And it needs to be at a certain height to pass over there. And that goes into the lift. Now we've got a belt of 240, whatever majiggy these things are. Disgusting. We need to be that. And then that needs to be coming out over here. And it can't, because there's not enough support here. God damn it. So it needs to come out this way and then around. Oh, that's even worse. So it's almost worth doing this even one higher. Just so we can come out here. But no, we can't go one higher because then we don't have the support to get here. We can kind of get here. It would need to be 2 higher and then traveled back down. Oh my god. But it just needs to go into an advanced cutter. And then into the dissolution chamber. So maybe we can just get it to go to the end. Let's not worry about it too much. Let's put the dissolution chamber in. Right? Let's put the dissolution chamber in. And we know at the very end, there's going to be an advanced cutter linked to it. That's definitely going to have to be lifted both ways. So let's put the advanced cutter, stay here. Then we can face this thing the right way. I'm just going to use a normal lift for now because I keep changing this. Now we put it at the same height as a normal lift. No, wait, we don't want it at that height. We want it at this height. That way we can go into here. So now we're getting the 240 of this. Now we just need the 120 of this. 240 of this and, sorry, we need the 120 of this, which is an advanced press not overclocked with the copper side of things. We don't have to weld the steel because our steel just exists over here. But this feels like a bit of a bait. To bring the steel and this thing together feels like a little bit of a bait, right? So let's use the other recipe, which uses sulfuric acid, which is over here, and copper, which is right here. To make this at 120, we do need to... Okay, so this method of doing copper, can we do it straight up out of copper? Because then we only need one advanced press, because one advanced press makes the 120 that we need, and we can just make it out of the copper alone, and the copper is all here. A furnace and a press into an advanced cutter to make 120. I'm just going to put it here because I don't have any space. We know the pattern for a furnace and a press. Now we just need the copper into here. But it's not enough copper. We needed 240 copper. Damn. Gonna cut out this water pipe for now. This is not enough copper. Let's just test it out real quick and validate that. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. How do I line up these two levels? Can you not line up these two levels? Are you serious? Wow, they've extra trolled that you can't bring anything from this level onto this level. Okay, so this recipe is out because we need 120. 60-60 makes 120. No. 60-60 makes 120 already. We don't need an overclock. What am I thinking? We just need to bring the copper up here. It's so dumb that these two levels are desynced because there's no way I can bring anything from here to here. What are these solar panels for again? They're the final item I need. But if I do my solar panels up here, how am I going to bring it down to here? That's so dumb. We're going to need so many elevators. Unless I'm thinking about this wrong and I don't do my dissolution chamber here. Yeah. Get this out of the way then. Can do something like this. That gives room for this thing to be out of the way. Now I should be able to belt this over to this side, just barely. And that can go into the advanced press somewhere, which frees up room on this side to do the copper processing. But either way, doing this copper processing over on this side is kind of annoying. We want to do something like this. That's horrible. Let me just do this one step at a time. This pipe is in the way. Again, this pipe is always in the way. Do the turn there. Nope, still in the way. We'll go up and over then. Let's use some more pipe, it's fine. It's just a little bit of vertical distance. Go over this way. And we just bring it down somewhere here. Like this. Remember, we still haven't done the big dissolution stuff as well. We still gotta make the... Oh god, we still gotta make this thing. We haven't even made that yet. I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. There's our 60. That's another component down. Now that 60 needs to mix with 60 here to make 120 in an advanced press. So this is where things get tricky because I can't just put this onto here because there's no lift that intercepts this level. What I need to do is lift it again back down, which is so dumb. We need to do that. We need to lift it up. How stupid is that? We need to lift it up and then lift it back down, which uses up so much space. And look, it crosses off this part too. Ugh. It's just annoying. There's gonna be a trick where neither of these two go anywhere together. They all bring it all down here. Because this and this go into an advanced press. Like that. Finally, there's our 120. And there's our 240 of this. Both of these go into an advanced cutter. Like this. Makes 60 shadow crystals. But we need 120. So we did all that so we can overclock this. That makes 90 because we don't have enough of this. Because this thing is now intercepting this. And there's our 120. Oh, nice. Alright. So we've got our 120 shadow crystals. Oh, sorry. Nebula infused opals. We've got our 60 of these. This is like annoyingly on this side. And now we just need to put it all through a bloody... Oh, we're not done yet. We still got to make the rest of this thing. So we've got the green thing. We need to turn water into this thing. So we need a distiller somewhere. How's our power going? We're still good on power. Don't be deceived though. That can change real quick. A biofluxer somewhere. Nowhere here can fit a biofluxer. Nowhere along this water pipe, existing water pipe, can I fit a biofluxer. And then after the what do I need to fit in? After the biofluxer, I need a chemical infuser. Where would I put a chemical infuser? Are you insane, game? The only remote way I'm even going to be able to do that is down here. I'd have to move this process somewhere here. And where would I even move this process to? I'd have to move this process like here. By moving this process here, I can put a lift here. Stupidest lift ever. I can put a lift here. And a lift here that lines up to it. And then do that. Bring the lift out this way. Oops. And then bring the lift out this way. And that gets me my copper bars over here, which then I can mix with this in an advanced press, but that's barely gonna fit. We'd want it like here. Then we need to move this out of the way, which can be done. This is like just really in the way. Because then we'd want to take this shadow crystal and mix it with this belt. Let's just get this out of the way because we can reorg this however we like. In an advanced cutter. If by some miracle I could do that. Like this, and I need one tile of space this way. So we'd move all of this one tile this way. Like that. That gets me my crystal thingy-mabob. That crystal thingy-mabob then needs to go into the final diffusey thingy-mabob. And we still need to redo this process, which is just a singular overclocked that into a welder. Where was this coming from? The aluminum. Yeah, that's there. Somewhere we need to put a welder. This is definitely the tightest process I've ever done. That doesn't make sense either. Because then how do I get this out? We need one more tile of space. We're literally missing one tile of space. Because the welder and this thing, I can't just do this. Oh man, this is complex. Well, since we can't fit this much machinery here, and don't forget, we still have to process our liquid. What I'm thinking is we find an alternate recipe for this. Because there is one. We can make it out of less copper and sulfuric acid. Do we have a sulfuric acid on the map? Yeah. That's probably going to be the key here. So I'm just going to delete some of the stuff here. We're not going to need all this copper processing anymore. What we want to do is just furnace the copper filament. So I'll probably do that up here as well. That way we get our furnace. And then we need to... Well, we've got the shadow crystal right here. And put that into a chemical infuser. Now, into this chemical infuser, we want to put these two and the acid. All the way from down here. What's the most direct route that doesn't intercept anything? I want to go with out around the side because that way we can use the dirt path. And we just run about all the way to the end of the world. Then we run about all the way up as high as we can go. At some point these two should intersect. There. And we'll just cut out the rest. That gives us our shadow opal crystal so much faster than what we had before. And now that we have our 240 of this, we will need to move that across over here. And where should we put this? Since this is the longest construction time, I'm leaning towards trying to place my advanced cutter as close to the edge as possible, like this. Let's just get rid of that. So will that work for me? Yes, I want to say. And then we'll even get this going off the edge, just under this pipe. Just out of the way as much as possible, because space is just such a commodity. Wait, why am I upgrading that belt? We don't want to upgrade that belt. But we need 120 shadow crystal, so we need to overclock this. And that's now needing overclocking on that, but we should be able to overclock that, which needs an overclock on that. And we still don't have enough of the copper filament. Give that a little upgrade. Does this need to be one tile out, or is this okay here? I think it's okay here. I think we can like squeeze a pipe this way. Less belting required. Always a good thing. We might need that extra tile of space. But yeah, there we go. There's our 120 nebula infused opal. Finally, after all of that. Now we still need to make this thing. This thing is going to be a little bit more complex. Let's make this thing first. So we need 120 solar cells, right? Now, a lot of that is coming from somewhere here. And that somewhere here needs to go into a welder of some sort. So I'm tempted to put my welder like, say, here. But that blocks this thing. Where's the closest I can put my welder that doesn't block this thing? If I put my welder there, then where would I put this thing? Maybe I need to shove it even more further up. That way I can put this thing here. I want to run it, because this belt runs so long, I want this belt to just definitely run to... Wow, it doesn't even want to go here. I definitely want this belt just to run like this, right? Then, in that case, where can I put this? I would have to put it somewhere really janky and backwards like this, but that's okay. That's okay because we'll optimize in a bit, but more importantly, we can run the belt around the back here. We're going to just use all of the out of map space. There we go. There's our 60. What do you not like about this? That needs to be upgraded. So now that can be overclocked to the 120 that we need. We need 120, and now that should be able to be overclocked. But we're short on this. We've got 120 already, don't we? Yeah, 120. But it's 120. Oh, we need 240 here. But that's okay. We do have space to work here, I think. Oh, God. Let me move some of this. Let me get rid of this for now. Because if we need another one of this, that means we need another overclocked cutter. But each of these cutters is already taking in 120 to make 60. But when I'm overclocking, I'm already taking in 240. That means I can't use a belt. I have to put another splitter somewhere. Oh God, this is going to be a big renovation. So we'd have to get rid of this. We can uplink this somewhere else at some point. Let's get rid of this as well. Oh God, this is kind of hard. So what we're saying is we definitely need a splitter here, and then our two cutters need to be here and here. Let's just validate that if I overclock these cutters. Okay, that's not horrendous. Let me get rid of this belt so I can see. I just need a belt to link these and then lift it. Do I have space to shift all of this down one? I think I do. So if I take all of this monstrosity and just shift it down one tile of space, that will give this, if I use upgraded belts, enough leeway to get out, I think. But we need to get it out to the right height. That's the right height, and we want it to go backwards. Because that's a 240 belt now, so all of this needs to be upgraded. And then linked to here somehow, which needs to upgrade this belt, which now gets me the 120 that I need. Good, we're very close. Now we need to get this thing working again, which means we need to get all of this stuff working again. Oh God. What have we cut? Let's get the water belt sorted first. There's the water, or the liquid. Then we can get the solid stuff in. This is a bit of a problem, but we can just do something janky like this. We can cut that. This is not working either, but I suspect that's just flipping this. That's all good. Do I need all these to be upgraded? No. Do I need this to be upgraded? No. This just needs to be upgraded, but the belts coming out of here don't need to be upgraded. We might upgrade certain sections if we have spare power later. So that gets all that working, but we still need to belt these to the other side of the world. So that needs to go there. This one needs to reconnect. Is that even possible still? Yes. Yes, that gets us our 240. That gets us our 120. And now we just need to belt this out somewhere. So that's currently coming out right here. And in fact, I should be able to add my lift right here. Then in theory, we should just be able to do that. Is that linked up? Nothing's coming out of this elevator. No, it's working. There's our 120 shadow crystals. There's our 120 crystalline, right? I keep calling these shadow crystals, these nebula infused opals. There it is, the 120. Then up here, there's the 120 of this. Now we just need our liquid. And then we can run a test run. And I'm probably pretty sure we're going to have to do a lot of optimization. But what can we do for that? This is so tight to do everything in here. But essentially, we need to take the water and we need to biofluxer it. Like this. I want to create as much space as possible. So that's the edge. Like that. And that's the water, right? Now we have this gas pipe and this gas pipe, and we need to put it into a chemical infuser, which we can fit where? We could put it here. The chemical infuser is going to output a gas. So if we put it like this, can we pipe it in? I feel like this needs to be flipped. Like that. Then we can pipe the hydrogen. This is going to be really janky, but I don't really see any way around this. We can pipe the hydrogen in like this, and then we'll go over the top, I guess, for this one. Because I can't flip it the other way, can I? No, because there's no two outlets space there. So we can go over and under like that. That gets us that liquid. Then this needs to go, there's nowhere else I can possibly put a biofluxer here. So my biofluxer is going to have to go like here, right? But before we put our biofluxer in, our final thing is a dissolution chamber, which needs to go somewhere here. I'm just going to plop it here for now, because the output of this thing needs to go into here, and the output of this thing needs to go into here. And then this thing, okay, so this thing doesn't have enough space here. We need one more space here so that this pipe can now go up, up, and into here. Like that. Okay, now we just need to bring a really long hydrogen pipe. Nope. Can't go that way. Have to go this way. And then up. But how far up do we need to go? Probably the same length as this. So that section. That's too high. So around here. That's the shortest length this hydrogen pipe goes. And I have no idea where I am for power. But there is a lot of room for optimization around here. Can I go one lower? No. Because we need to duck under a pipe at some point. Or should we just go over the top of this? We can go over the top and just line it up this way and link it like that. And that's everything. Look, we've got our 60. Amazing. We've still got the challenge of bringing it over here, which you need a lift. So So we need to, because this doesn't directly just go out, we need a lift, which is super annoying. Now this hydrogen pipe is in the way of my lift. Can I move everything across a little bit and then maybe pipe the hydrogen a different way? Let me pipe the hydrogen completely out of the way. Because if I'm going to go here, I might as well just go around this way, right? So a little bit out of the way. We hit this elevator and then we'll go here. And then we'll go down, or we'll go up from like here somewhere. Now we need an elevator up to go up this way to meet an elevator here. So my ideal elevator position is here. The in is there and the out is there. Which means I would just love to move all of this across just one tile. If possible. Which seems possible. That way we can just go straight out there. And then whatever this elevator comes out at can just join directly with this elevator. Hopefully there's nothing crossing these two. Beautiful. And doesn't matter whether I put belts there or not. And everything is done. We're done. Are we under? 1812. Oh my god. Somehow we're under by like 10 things. So we're definitely on the right track. How's our time? We need to hit 250 and we need to maintain this for 2 minutes. So by the 50-second mark, when this hits 50 seconds, our thing needs to be going. It started at 44 seconds. I think we got it. I think we got it. Wow, that is a bloody journey. Look at this thing go. Wait, this thing is not... Oh no, it's backed up. Why is this backed up? That's weird. Not working, no space. Are we maintaining the speed? We are. I don't understand why that's flashing. But doesn't matter because we got 5 stars. And we got number 2. Number 2. I mean, there's not many players, only 8 players. But we're like one of the few 5-star solutions, right? Because 250 is the breakpoint. Only these guys are 5 stars. But we got one of the fastest 5-star solutions. In terms of power, people have done it a lot more efficiently. I really want to see the 1600 solution. And in terms of space, we're number 1. What? How are we number 1 for space? What the heck? I know the competition's not like many anymore. I don't know what happened to this game. I don't know if people have just gotten stuck on levels and they can't get any further. But we are currently number 1. In terms of the gallery, no one's even posted a solution. So what's the point? But yeah, look at that solution right now. So if you guys want to see what recipes we're using, this is what we're using. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we needed to use the cutter recipe for this and the dissolution chamber recipe for this. And obviously we're using the oil. No, we're not. We're using the liquid deuterium that was provided to us. Over here, we're doing the standard recipe for liquid hydrogen chloride. It was just a matter of squeezing in all of the machines into this little space and then just using tons of pipes to do parts of it elsewhere. And finally, the bottom half of the solution, which is to make these 2 crystals, the pink and the purple crystal. That was really difficult. Luckily, we figured out that they've provided us sulfuric acid, so we're using this one. This is provided, and the copper you have to just bring up and make into filament, and then you can put it into a dissolution chamber for a very easy purple crystal. The pink crystal is much, much harder. To get the volume that you need is this entire monstrosity down here, where we're using this recipe over here, but to make this reinforced aluminum bars in 2 advanced furnaces is not the way to go. In fact, you have to do it the more difficult way, which is this one. So you're using the dissolution chamber, and then you're doing this process to the 1200 aluminum coming out here through your dissolution chamber, through your welders, so your presses and your furnaces. Doing that twice, bringing it over to a pair of overclocked welders, and then that gets you your 240 pink crystal, which you're bringing back up here to advance craft with the purple crystal into the final opal, which you're putting into a dissolution chamber along with the solar panels, along with the liquid, and then just transporting it to the end. That's it. That's the solution. It is very, very, very hard to come to. Well, took a long time, not very hard. You just approach it logically one step at a time, and that's it. All right, on to the next one.